Hello, good morning. Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be eating like Dr. Mike, but vegan. Before we get started, you should hit that subscribe and like button. Okay, thank you. So today my breakfast is going to be this. Dr. Mike has said a few times that he is a big fan of intermittent fasting, which has become all the rage in the past few years. So he usually just has some green tea or something similar in the morning and doesn't actually have food for breakfast, which makes me a little bit sad because I love to eat, but I do also like green tea. So lucky for me, I already had some in the house and didn't have to go get some. But anyways, I just wanted to take a minute to talk about intermittent fasting since it's something that he has, I don't want to say promoted, but that he's mentioned on his channel as something that he does, which when you're someone with millions of subscribers and you're an MD, even if you're not explicitly promoting it, people are probably going to tend to want to take after you in some of your lifestyle habits. So anyways, intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting got really popular in a lot of like fitness, health, and especially like weight loss and muscle building kind of circles. And it became really popular because a lot of people were talking about it for weight loss. And here's the thing, from what I have seen, different articles that I have looked at, intermittent fasting has some mixed evidence about if it actually helps promote a greater weight loss than if you ate the same amount of calories over a more traditional eating window, right? Breakfast, lunch, and dinner versus just breakfast and lunch or just lunch and dinner. Because that's really all intermittent fasting is that you're skipping one of those meals at the beginning or ending of your day and just shortening that time period which you're eating all your calories in. It's not an actual diet. It doesn't tell you how many calories or what kinds of foods you should or should not eat. It is purely about the time window that you're eating in. So, like I said, I've seen some mixed evidence. The majority of the research that I have seen, it does not actually help promote any greater amount of weight loss than the same amount of calories in a bigger time window of eating. However, that doesn't mean that it's not necessarily without its benefits. Some of the articles that, again, were saying that it didn't help promote weight loss did notice some significant differences between the cholesterol levels between the two groups and even like A1C and fasting blood glucose and things like that. So while it may not necessarily help you lose weight in and of itself, it may actually help with some other things that are even more important than a number on the scale, like your total cholesterol and your A1C and fasting blood glucose, which is somewhat ironic. I picked Dr. Mike to be my next person that I veganized their day of eating a while ago. And then about a week and a half ago, he uploaded a video called My Health Scare or something like that, where he had gotten a checkup and his cholesterol was quite high. So that intermittent fasting may actually help for him in particular because he is having some issues with his cholesterol being high. And I will talk more about that later. And then the last thing I want to say about intermittent fasting is just because it won't necessarily help you lose more weight than you might otherwise, it does help for some people to stay within a caloric deficit. Some people do really well with intermittent fasting because once they start eating, it just kind of turns on the eating switch and then they will eat and snack and graze throughout the rest of the day. So if they push that start time back, it actually helps them maintain a calorie deficit because they are eating in that shorter window. So again, intermittent fasting doesn't in and of itself make you be in a caloric deficit, but it can help people not be feeling so hungry and so deprived if they shorten that window. For some people, it actually goes the opposite way, which ironically, it kind of sounds like that's what Dr. Mike was doing to himself, where if you skip breakfast in the morning and then you start, have like a normal sized meal at lunch, you just end up so hungry by the end of the day that, it's the end of the day, you're tired, you don't have energy to cook, and then you start making those decisions of, well, I'm just gonna get some convenience food, I'm just gonna get some fast food, I'm just gonna get whatever. And those foods are fine from time to time, but if you are doing that a lot, or if you are just overeating at the end of the day because you've been so hungry all morning, then intermittent fasting probably is not something that would work for you. So intermittent fasting is not perfect for everyone. You can try it if you want and see how your body responds to it. It may have some benefits, but weight loss probably isn't inherently one of them. Also, I don't know how long Target has had this mug out, but I really wonder if it was before or after Kylie Jenner's Rise and Shine. moment. Because if it was after, I wonder if they would maybe have some trademark issues, because I'm pretty sure she made like merch and a song and all this kind of stuff, so I wouldn't be surprised if she had tried to put a trademark on the phrase rise and shine. I want food. It's fine though, it's fine. That is actually one thing about tea as well that probably really works as breakfast for Dr. Mike, is that hot liquids, warm liquids, can actually feel quite filling and satiating, even if there's no or very few calories in them, so cheers! So Dr. Mike might have bear, but I have Pear Bear! Yes, this is my dog Perry. I call him Pear Bear sometimes. Can you let go of the ball? Oh, thank you. Yeah. Go fetch! Good boy. You're such a good boy. Good boy. Oh, you're such a good boy. He doesn't have a lot of brain cells, but he's very sweet and very snuggly. There are a few other things that I would like to say about Dr. Mike's video about his wake-up call, his health scare about his cholesterol being so high, and elaborate on some of the things that he did to successfully lower his cholesterol. So, first thing that I want to say is that yes, he got those ranges absolutely right of wanting LDL below 100 and having total cholesterol under 200. LDL cholesterol below 100 is somewhat difficult. In fact, for people who have already had heart attacks or who have been put on like high-dose statins to try and lower cholesterol, it is very unlikely that some of those individuals will ever be able to reach that ideal range, which sucks, right? Because I think we would all agree that we would love to be able to lower our risk of a heart attack, but that may not be possible for some people without statins. Again, part of that is very much genetic. He mentions in his video potentially getting tested for some familial hypercholesterolemia genes, which is exactly what it sounds like. It's genetic high cholesterol. One of the other things that he did was talk to a cardiologist, and that cardiologist happens to be vegan, which I'm team plants, so that was pretty exciting to see. However, I do wish that he had not only spoken to a cardiologist, but I wish he had spoken to a registered dietitian in his video as well, especially because he's making dietary changes, and that really is like the scope of practice and the job for a clinical dietitian is to do medical nutrition therapy, which is, altering your diet for the treatment of those exact kind of risk factors, right? So having high cholesterol, things like that is exactly what a clinical dietitian would be speaking to someone about and changing those dietary habits to lower that cholesterol through diet. So I wish that he had talked to both of those people. I don't have any beef with the fact that he talked to a cardiologist instead of an RD. I wish he'd seen both. Because RDs are very much an interdisciplinary role, so talking to both would have been really great. So I think that's a little bit of a missed opportunity. And of course, RD to be, I want more representation for registered dietitians in the health field. So that's just one thing that I wish he'd done. Now, talking about why some of the things that he did work, I want to talk about fiber, basically, is what I wanted to talk about. So he said that he started eating about 60 grams of fiber in a day, which to him was quite a bit, and for most Americans is quite a bit. Unfortunately, most Americans don't even hit the RDA recommendations. I don't want to say it's not hard to hit, because it is and it isn't, right? Like the way that I eat a lot of plants. I eat almost exclusively plants. I get 60 grams of fiber in a day, and I don't really pay attention to fiber just because I know I'm good on fiber. So I am getting the same amount of fiber that he was struggling to get without really doing as much thinking about it. I also eat a lot of brown rice, broccoli, non-starchy vegetables. Whole grains are going to be the big ones for getting fiber in pretty easily. Oatmeal is a great one. Again, that's a whole grain, so no surprise there. And those just aren't foods that a lot of Americans have in their diet. If they are eating grain products, a lot of times it's white bread rolls, or God forbid, not God forbid, it is what it is, or it's like pastries like donuts or Twinkies or other like Hostess snacks. That is where a lot of grains in people's diets do come from in the US, and those just have most of that fiber taken out of them. So then it's not helping you out. So if you want to raise your fiber, non-starchy vegetables are really great for it. Berries are really great for it if you want something sweeter, because I know non-starchy vegetables can still be kind of a deal breaker when it comes to taste for a lot of people. And then whole grains. So even just trying, slices of whole wheat bread for your toast or your sandwiches, having some oatmeal, things like that can really help you increase your fiber intake. Then I wanted to talk about why and like how that actually works, how fiber lowers your cholesterol. So some digestion / anatomy 101, just for anyone who isn't familiar. When you eat fat, you have to be able to like break it down and assimilate it into your body, right, to absorb it. Fat and water don't really mix, and your body is mostly water, and so most of the things it secretes are also mostly made of water. So your body secretes this stuff called bile. I feel like most people have heard of bile, but more in the context of when you've thrown up so much there's nothing left and it's just bile. Sorry, that was gross. Anyways, bile. Bile is made of cholesterol salts. Bile breaks up fat and turns it into smaller droplets so that your body can send some enzymes over to it and make it small enough and break it up so it's not like when you pour oil into water and it just wants to stick to itself and it doesn't want to mix with the water. It breaks that up so that your body can actually absorb it and use it for energy. Bile, like I said, is made out of cholesterol salts. Now your body is really, really, really freaking good at recycling bile. It's called the Entero hepatic circulation, right? That literally just means liver to your digestive tract and back to your liver, because your liver makes the bile, stores it in your gallbladder, and then it secretes out of your gallbladder into your GI tract. And it just goes in a little circle between those, right? Our bodies are very, very good at recycling it. So when it's not recycled, one of the few times that happens is when you have fiber in your diet. Now, we can't break down fiber and get any calories out of it, right? That's why a lot of people who are trying to lose weight eat a lot of high fiber foods, because they can be very high volume, right? Again, like non-starchy vegetables, you can eat a high volume of them without getting a lot of calories, because we can't get any energy out of that fiber. So that fiber actually absorbs some of that bile, and then it doesn't let it go, so it can't be recycled. So then it ends up coming out in your feces, how it comes out. And then because your body wasn't able to recycle that bile, it has to replace it. And it replaces it by taking cholesterol out of your bloodstream to make those cholesterol salts that are bile. So that's why that eating 60 grams of fiber and eating black beans and things like that was part of the recommendations that Dr. Mike received. Just got back from my walk. It is just a little bit afternoon, and the next thing that Dr. Mike has quite often are called perfect bars. They are very much nut-based. He likes to say he has nuts about nuts, which is awesome because nuts are, again, very, whole food, delicious, nothing wrong with nuts. I found, the perfect bars that he eats are protein bars. Actually, they have whey protein in them, so that makes them not vegan. So I couldn't pick some of those up. There are vegan protein bars with nuts in them. Like there's Lenny and Larry's cookie-fied bars that have like almonds in them and such. But what I found that sounded really intriguing to me were these date and nut bars from Target. It's their own brand, Good and Gather. So these are not protein bars. They're not meant to be. Again, there are vegan protein bars out there. There's something that I could pick up at a pinch. So I'm actually going to be eating 2 of these to get closer to the amount of calories that's in one of the perfect bars, because these are pretty small. This is pretty small. So these are small. B, they're about half the amount of calories that is in one of the perfect bars. So I will be having 2 together. There's only 8 grams of protein in the 2 of them. There's usually about 15, give or take, in the perfect bars. So less protein, but same amount of calories. If I wanted to hit that same amount of protein, I could if I had wanted to pick up a different bar. But these are also pumpkin pie flavored, so I really wanted to try them. So we're going with these. And I haven't had one yet. I imagine that they're probably like Lara bars, because again, nuts and dates. And it pretty much has, yeah, it's all 7 ingredients on the front. Dates, cashews, dried pumpkin, ginger, cinnamon, nutmeg, and allspice. So it's pumpkin, nuts, dates, and some seasonings. So let's see. Okay. Interesting. It tastes almost like vaguely like a gingerbread cookie, which makes sense because it has ginger in it. Doesn't really taste like pumpkin all that much. Tastes more like dates and seasoning. It's not bad. Yeah, not bad. It is pretty close to a Lara bar. A little bit stickier, I guess, on the outside. The outside feels like it has almost the texture of like fruit leather. Anyways, not bad. Just got done with my workout. I made sure to have my first snack before I went and worked out. Pretty sure Dr. Mike doesn't, but I cannot do a workout on 0 calories without feeling like I'm going to pass out. Some people can do fasted workouts and they feel great. I am not one of those people. So I had my first snack first, and now I'm going to go get lunch, which when it comes to lunch, Dr. Mike speaks my language because he gets Chipotle a fair amount of the times, and I flipping love Chipotle. And Chipotle is also so incredibly easy to order vegan food at. So I'm gonna go get a Chipotle bowl, and I'm not gonna eat it till I get home because I need to throw some guacamole on it, and because my weird allergy to fresh avocados but not prepackaged guac and avocados. I don't know, I just know last time I had Chipotle's guacamole, because they make it in-house fresh, it is literally too fresh for me to eat, and unfortunately it causes me a lot of stomach pain and vomiting. So see you back at home with a delicious Chipotle sofritas bowl. Back home, I walked the dog. He was very good today. He did not chew on anything he wasn't supposed to, didn't pull anything off of any hangers, didn't knock over any potted plants. So good job, Perry. Anyways, I am back home with my delicious burrito bowl. I got brown rice, black beans, and double sofritas. If you don't know, that is the deliciously seasoned tofu. Dr. Mike normally gets double protein, so I got double protein as well. One thing I don't think he mentioned that I did put on here is the fajita vegetables. So A, more ways to add more fiber, and B, bell peppers are actually surprisingly high in vitamin C. They're just about as good as citrus fruit, so got that as well. I did not put any queso or cheese or sour cream on here because no dairy, but I did put the corn salsa and both of the pico de gallo and the salsa verde on there. He gets the mild stuff because he doesn't like it as spicy. I want to have a little bit of, just a little bit of spice on here. It's not even that spicy. And then of course lettuce on top. And like I mentioned, their guacamole I can't have, so I'm adding my own guac to it. And the way I have always liked to mix up my Chipotle bowls is just to put the lid on it and shake it. So that's what I'm gonna do. I am not sure if I'm gonna be able to finish this burrito bowl in one sitting, which is kind of funny because again, I didn't have breakfast. I had green tea for breakfast. But like I was saying, that is kind of why intermittent fasting works for some people, is because they just don't necessarily have much of an appetite until they start eating, or until they wait too long and then suddenly they are ravenous and will eat everything in sight. And that's when they start making those like impulsive decisions of like, you know what, I'm so hungry, I don't have time to cook, I'm just gonna go get fast food, things like that. So either way, I know I can finish the bowl like before the night's over. I just don't know if it's gonna be in one sitting, so we'll see. Also, I need to look up how to roll sushi because that's what I'm making for dinner, some vegan sushi, so I should look into that. At my second snack, I am having, surprise, surprise, more nuts. The other one was a nut bar, but he really is nuts about nuts, so snacking on some nuts while I'm watching Supernatural and avoiding my homework. It's going great so far. Here is what I have whipped up for dinner. Some of the rolls didn't go so well, but some of them turned out looking super cute. So what's in them is some tofu in a couple places, some cucumber, carrot, rice obviously, and some guacamole because I can't put fresh avocado in, so it's packaged guac. And then of course the nori sheet wrapped around it. I have liquid aminos instead of soy sauce. I cannot stand soy sauce. It just tastes like freaking salt water to me. So I take a pass on that and I use coconut aminos instead. But I think these turned out really good. I have more stuff to make plenty more of these, which I'm pretty excited about because, again, turned out pretty freaking good. So that is my dinner. Let me go ahead and actually eat one of these and see how the taste came out. Just dip in a little bit of sauce. Sitting on my bed watching Supernatural, still avoiding my homework that I should be doing, that I will put off until tomorrow. Tomorrow's Halloween too. What the hell, sad. Anyway, this doesn't matter. It's sushi. It's good. Yeah, it tastes like most veggie sushis. I'm sorry, I'm talking with my mouth full. Give me a minute. Done chewing and swallowing. So, yeah, it tastes like pretty much most veggie sushi rolls that I've had, so I think that I did a pretty good job. And now I have making sushi in my repertoire. So go me, I picked up a new skill today. Last video, it was spring rolls that I had never made before, and this time it was sushi, and I conquered both. So that was my full day of eating like Dr. Mike, but vegan. It was pretty good, especially the Chipotle. I love Chipotle. It's one of my favorite places to eat, so that was not a problem for me. But I enjoyed learning how to roll that sushi too, and liked the tofu that I pan-fried for it, so all good things. Intermittent fasting is not my jam, so that part was meh for me, but having snacks and 2 meals, especially when the snacks are nuts and have, nuts are pretty calorically dense because of the fat in them. I think that helps me not be super hungry now because I'm feeling pretty full and satisfied. Anyways, thank you so much for sharing your time with me. I really appreciate you staying to the end of the video. Please hit that like button and subscribe if you want to see more, and you should definitely go and follow me on Instagram as well.